the actual process of getting the show together, a lot of that was Nate Dooley, Jimmy Payne, Mikey Nichols, Psycho Fett. I'd say the four of them were probably the primary guys in terms of getting a building. Cool, we've got a building. What do we do next? We need a ring. The story with the ring is just hilarious. But we managed to organize a kickboxing ring. And the guy that hired us the ring would actually become someone who was really valuable to us over the years. He was a Muay Thai instructor, and he would run his own shows. His name is Kevin Jr. Kevin would eventually join the Combat Sports Commission when that came in Perth. So I still see him occasionally when I would go to fight shows. I would see Kevin around the traps. But sorry, this is a little bit of a sidebar, but we organized this ring from Kevin. Now, keep in mind that the kickboxing fights that Kevin promotes sometimes have world title fights inside them. So, the ring has to be a specific size. He needs a certain number of ropes. The pads need to be a certain way. So the ring needs to be in immaculate condition in order for him to be able to host world title fights. Because, you can't have a guy slip over on a banana peel in a world championship fight. So we hire this ring, and the guys have given him a heads up about the stuff we're going to do. But, when you tell Muay Thai promoter who has no idea what pro wrestling is that you're going to bring some chairs and tables into the ring, he probably assumes that you're going to have a sit-down meeting or a contract signing, and that everyone's going to go their separate ways at the end of it, and then you're going to take the chairs and the table out. He doesn't think you are going to use those chairs and tables as weapons, and potentially one of those legs of those tables is allegedly going to rip a hole in his canvas. Okay, allegedly.
Oh no.
Allegedly. So, so the end of the show's going on, and me and Jimmy are in the ring for the main event. And unbeknownst to me, Kevin's in the corner of the room watching the end of this show take place. And full credit to him, there's a table propped up in the corner against the ropes. And in his head, he must be thinking, what are these idiots doing? They're going to ruin my ring. To his credit, he sits back and doesn't say a word, because he very easily could have run straight into the ring and said, stop that immediately. And we would have said, yes, sir. Not just because it's his ring, but because this man could kill me in the blink of an eye. So we finish our match. We go backstage. Everyone's patting each other on the back. And then the guys quietly say to me, hey, mate, Kevin wants to see you about the state of the ring. Now, God. I have not dealt with Kevin at any stage of this process. It has been Nate and Jimmy who have handled this process the whole way. But all of a sudden, Kevin's looking to beat somebody up, and I'm the guy in charge of the ring.
Oh, shit.
So he comes up to me, and Kevin, I believe Kevin's Burmese. He comes up to me, and he's a tiny bit shorter than me, but he is incredibly intimidating. And he walks very, very close to my face, and he's got two of his friends with him who are helping to pack down the ring, who are traditional Australians who you imagine then get into Muay Thai and are very influenced by the culture, and they've got the shaved head and the braided rat's tail down the back. So I'm suddenly surrounded by three Muay Thai fighters who are questioning me as to why we just did all that shit in the ring and what we're going to do to fix it. And I, to his credit, I apologize profusely. I say, mate, I'm sorry I didn't have anything to do. I believed that we had cleared all this with you. And he basically said, well, how the fuck was I to know that that's what was going to happen? And fair enough. If you never watched a wrestling show, you couldn't have even imagined that. So, we eventually were able to pay him back for all the damages to the ring. And he actually came to us maybe about 2 months later. It couldn't have even been 2 months, because the next show I think was mid-January or early February. But he came to us not long after and said, hey, one of my students is selling a ring that I built. I might be able to put you in touch with him so that you can purchase that. And this was a tiny kickboxing ring. I think it was about 15 foot. It was just a training ring. And we had to have a sit-down meeting with a bunch of our guys and say, hey, I think the ring was about $1,500. Can we can we raise this capital and just throw it together in order to get this ring? Yes, we can. I believe Mikey Nichols may have liberated some mats from Doubleview High School that we then used to pad out the ring. So Kevin ended up being this amazing resource for us when, you know, if he'd been nine out of 10 boxing or kickboxing promoters in Perth, he probably would have just dropped me where I was standing, taken his ring, and I never would have heard from him again. But full credit to him, just a champion bloke, helped us get into this ring. And then afterwards also had us on some of his shows as well, just to do like 5-minute promotional bouts, just to give people an idea of what we're about and try and promote ourselves. So
wow.